welcome to another video. This video I am just going to catch all up on what I've been doing with my Cricut right now. In this clip I am making a HTV design with my Cricut for my mother-in-law. It was her birthday. This was like in October. This is how late or long it's been. So I made like a fawn and doe to symbolize my mother-in-law and her grandchild, which is my child. And I put down the old lady, which is what we call her. Also, before I keep going on, yes, I do sound a little bit raspy. I've been sick a lot, and my bronchitis has been acting up. I did a video on it like a long time ago. I don't even know if I still have that video up. But also, my daughter's not feeling good, so she's right next to me. So if you hear mumbling, that's her. But back to the video. Right here you see me kind of fiddling with my laptop, and you see a design next to me. I was actually trying to single out some of the colors to make this design. It says, "Man, I feel like a mama," but all of the pieces, they weren't grouped up very well, so I had to regroup them myself and pick out what letters I wanted to be different colors. So I was sitting there doing that with my laptop, but here I am just weeding out everything, get everything situated. This is the final result. The fawn one, I didn't have to stack or do anything about matching up anything. It's this second one that I had to, and it turned out fine. This was Halloween day, and I quickly made this motherhood as a walk in the park. My daughter was a dinosaur for Halloween, so I made it for that. I wanted to be Dr. Ellie from Jurassic Park, but it was way too cold, so I just wore this shirt underneath a jacket with these pants. And as you could tell, the design, I think, is a little bit too low. You see where it's straight across on my chest with the chalk? It should have been way up there. I was thinking the middle of the design should be right there, but I think if you have a word or a space with words right there, that should be in the middle, or the main focus, besides the actual middle focus of the design. I don't know. This is the final look of my husband's cup with the Night Fury. And this is me redoing my Light Fury. I took off all of the scales and stuff from the other one, or from the previous time that I did it. This is the same cup, I'm just redoing it. I took a bunch of paint thinner and took off all the vinyl and everything else. And yes, paint thinner removes the vinyl. I don't know if it's good to remove it if it's the vinyl by itself, but I had paint underneath the vinyl scales, so I figured if there's paint underneath it, it'll remove the paint and loosen up the scales with it. And it worked out pretty good. It was really easy to peel off all the scales and to redo it all over again. As long as you got paint thinner in a tin can, it's so easy to strip cups. If you want a whole video on how I strip my cups, I would gladly show you. A lot of people wrap them up in paper towels and then foil, and then kind of like have them set, but I wrap them up in paper towels and I just have them sitting in a tin foil can. That way I'm not constantly using foil, and the tin foil keeps everything in. But here's me taking all the pieces. Anytime you see me kind of just sitting around and fiddling with something like this, it's my laptop, and I'm trying to put all the pieces together and trying to see where I can fit stuff. But this is the second step, kind of like what I did with the dark, but I'm doing it backwards. I'm doing a dark ink color, or like a gray ink color, on the white vinyl to make the scales pop, so it's not just straight white scales. It has a little bit of a darker scaly look to it, but it's silver, so it really shines and shimmers. Then this is me applying my Light Fury decals, and then I am curing it with some UV light. And then you see the brush underneath it. I'm not touching it with the brush. I am actually just curing whatever's on the brush, so I can just peel it off from the brush. But I am just doing the face on my Light Fury to see how it does with just curing that vinyl. The rest of the vinyl seemed to be doing really great, but I cured the whole entire cup on the right, which is my cowprint cup. I did not take pictures of the cowprint vinyl by itself, and I should have. That way I can show y'all a non-rhinestone version and a rhinestone version. That way I could sell both cups. But you can always message me on Etsy and, tell me if you want the non-vinyl version. I think I am going to stop doing 20-cent listings on Etsy and just manually add listings to myself, because I'm not getting a lot of sales on Etsy, and I get more sales on Poshmark, and I feel like the investment into Etsy, it's just not worth it. So I just might start manually doing the listings on Etsy, resharing them every now and then. But as far as right now, I have been doing a lot better just doing videos and stuff, and I enjoy the creative process of creating stuff for y'all, for ideas, and I just want to spend time on doing that. If I was getting more sales, I would focus on sales, but right now I'm just having fun creating for y'all, and y'all are seeming to enjoy just watching my content, so I really just want to keep up with the content right now, because I just think it's worth it. The engagement's worth it. So this is them drying with actual resin. I left it during the night, so yeah, it turned. This is what it looks like after I use the UV resin and it's cured, and it seems a little silly to now scuff it, but the reason why I did the UV resin was to mainly have that vinyl covered. That way the vinyl stays even longer, the cup lasts longer, and when you scuff it, it helps the rhinestones last longer. It helps something for the rhinestone glue to grab onto so that the rhinestones last a lot longer. And it will also add a little bit of a shine underneath. So once the rhinestones are added, you'll have a shine or a nice clear coat in between the vinyl and the rhinestones. But I can't think of the word because, I am on medicine. I'm on a lot of steroids and antibiotics and stuff, and I am taking an inhaler, so they all make me dizzy, or the side effect is dizziness, so I'm just dizzy. But this is me taking out everything that I use. This syringe, it had a needle nose syringe, but the needle nose was not small enough, so I got these needle nose bottles, but I found out the needle nose for the bottle fits the syringe. And I feel like the syringe is better about not wasting any product because it squeezes all of the product out and doesn't leave any product left. And I just love it a whole lot better. The bottles, I feel like you could leave a lot of glue on the sides or on the top, or, it ends up drying in the bottle. And I'm starting to like the syringe. I might keep the bottles for something else, like maybe mix some alcohol colors in the syringe and have it dipped out that way or something. I don't know. Never know. For a crafter, I feel like it's always great to have things, around. I feel like that's what hoarders say, but you know what I mean. Oh, and what I meant to say about the UV resin over the vinyl, it seals it. You kind of want to get used to it when you do resin to seal your vinyl before you cover it in resin. And I did a glitter butt underneath, but the glitter butt doesn't really do anything. Like, it doesn't matter. The bottom of the cup is actual resin that sits and coats, but the UV resin on the side, it just helps seal that vinyl so the vinyl doesn't end up picking up over time and it lays flat. Because I see everybody doing these permanent vinyl stickers on the cups and then do the rhinestones over it. But then I see some videos where people start complaining that the vinyl comes up and the rhinestones kind of come up with it. So I just wanted to see how it would do if I sealed the vinyl, even though it's permanent vinyl. I sealed my permanent vinyl and then put the rhinestones on top. 1, so it would have something to attach to. 2, it didn't pick up edges from the vinyl and everything lays flat. And 3, it just probably looks cleaner overall. in my opinion. So it's just like an extra step to make sure that everything's good. So this is the cup when it's dry. I was going for camo, but somehow it came out into this earthy blue, neutral tones and stuff. So I just, even though it was a little bit earthy, it wasn't the type of earth, it was more oceany than woodsy, if that makes any sense. So I was like, this is a cute like ocean or beach look, I guess, but it just wasn't camouflage. So we're gonna retry this cup, but I still took pictures of it just to give people options if anybody, you know, would be interested in purchasing this look of a cup. I wouldn't mind doing it. It does look good. I know somebody out there is probably going to say it doesn't look good to them, but then there's also other people that say that they think it looks good. I think it looks good. I think my husband fell in love with this cup. He wanted this cup. He said he would buy another cup, but I was like, I just want to redo it. This could be my project cup, if anything, where I just redo it and redo it and redo it. But I think it did come out beautiful. It came out very even. And the method I used was a dirty pour.
Okay, this is a test. This is liquid fusion. This is fusion tack adhesive on this side, okay? This is E6000. Now, we're going to let these dry fully, which I believe takes about 24 hours. And we're going to check and we're going to see which one's more clear than the other, okay? Because I keep seeing people saying use E6000 glue, E6000 glue, E6000 glue. But if you use E6000 glue on, but this is the lid that I keep showing everybody. Okay, so you see how scratched up this lid is, right? This is it, shiny, nice resin jewel piece. Resin rhinestone right there. Nice and shiny compared to this scratched up tin. Now this is intact, but as we can tell, this is, it looks like a glob of glue. It just looks nasty. You can't even tell what it is. It just looks like a glob of glue. And then this you could tell is a resin rhinestone. So I am going to use that little test, but on an actual resin piece. So this is the resin piece. Right there is the liquid fusion. If it would, you know, nicely like to. Okay, so this is liquid fusion, and over here is the E6000. Now E6000, you can already tell, has bubbles. Bubbles. Let's see if we can get rid of those bubbles. So this is the E6000, has bubbles. This is the liquid fusion. We're going to wait and see how these dry up after 24 hours. And I will show y'all. And why I use this instead of that. So here, I don't know if you can tell, but I can tell. See all these bubbles right here? That's from the E7 or E6000 glue. E6000 leaves all of these nasty holes, air bubbles or whatever. So anytime you use it on clear resin, you're going to see all of these holes, which is going to look like you did a bad resin job, which this is a bad resin job to begin with because it already has a little bit of holes, but you don't want even more holes. That's not good. And then this right here, this little section where you can see the brush strokes, but it's still clear as day. So this compared to this, and there's like a little bit of gap between the two, I would much prefer this. This is liquid fusion, but also B700 works just the same. It's just more expensive, but liquid fusion I highly recommend. And then this is the E6000. Now what you can't see is the fogginess. I can only see the fogginess when there's a different colored background. So as you can see, this is a lot, ooh, sorry, them nails are disgusting. As you can see, this is a lot foggier compared to the green background. Then this side right here. This side is so much more clear, more see-through, no hole, no air bubbles or anything like that. But then you see over here and it's foggy. It's definitely, you can see that it's foggy. And what that means is that the E6000 is actually eating away at the resin. And I get a lot of people for getting mad at me on these resin groups or craft groups for even suggesting liquid fusion over E6000. E6000 seems to be the go-to glue for all crafters, but I think wrong. I think it's the liquid fusion. It works just the same. It's an industrial glue and it's meant for resin. It's also meant for metal and other stuff. E6000 is only meant for glass and metal, but liquid fusion is definitely meant for resin and for jewelry and stuff like that. So if you're wondering E6000 glue or liquid fusion, I would choose liquid fusion because you can't even tell. If you just look at this side, the only way you could tell is if you look up close and see that like how I did it, I kind of like tapped it on there so you could see those ridges from where my thumb tapped. But if I were to stroke it or paint it on, it would have been so much more clear. But since I tapped it and created peaks to see where it was, that's the only reason why there's a peak. It's because I just tapped it on there. But E6000 has so much more holes and it's so much more foggy.
I hope y'all enjoyed that little testing part that I did. I was kind of frustrated and really just wanted to kind of prove it to myself and to y'all that everybody says E6000 on these Facebook groups, and it drives me nuts. I had some people like get mad at me for even saying otherwise, but as you can tell, this is a beautiful cup, beautiful rhinestones. I love it. To me, this kind of gives it a wet look. When it's the clear stones, when it's the jelly stones, it gives it a nice like cartoony or really pigmented look. But I like the rhinestones when it's like this because to me it gives it a wet look, a very nice and glamorous look. And I just love the different rhinestones for different looks. So I'll definitely make a different look for the cow print. So make sure you like and subscribe. That way I know that you want to see a different version of this. And so that when you subscribe, that you'll be notified when I do post the video of new projects or new rhinestone projects, whatever you like. So I have everything. Well, I say I have everything for everybody. I do rhinestoning, sewing, crochet, and vinyl. I'm trying to stay with those 4 things for right now, or 5 things, and hold back on my crafting obsessions, if you know what I mean. But also, please pray for me, wish me well. I'll get over this soon, hopefully, and I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I'm sorry I missed last week, and I hope to see you next week.